Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Imperial Dane, with another Propagandacast for you, my magnificent viewers. And today we have a 1 vs 1 on Angoville. Yes, indeed, it is Angoville. We'll be having a match on somewhere outside Caen. The British 30th Corps is making its advance, only to be stopped in its tracks by the 21st Panzer Division under Hauptmann Kuoppa's command, and of course the British are under command of the GRDS, whatever that's supposed to mean. And let's get this started right away, and while they are up doing the usual stuff things, I'll just describe the map quickly. We have a nice winding road. We have the western part being open farmlands with a few sheds, but nothing really blocking anything, whereas the eastern part is more dense with plenty of bocage and farm buildings, which is certainly providing some areas for troops getting closer, and of course garrisoning. And right here we have a nice spot which can be mined, and really is a good spot to mine, so it will usually mean that someone will move in there and get damaged, knocked out or immobilized. And we see a recon section moving straight for this high yield fuel point, which probably means he's going to try and move his headquarters truck right up here in a rather advanced position and be going for a lot of fuel early on. And we see a lieutenant getting out first though, and then dashing away himself. We see pioneers. We have 3 pioneer teams, in fact, a bit aggressive, and we'll probably see something coming out now, probably a Volksgrenadier team, or we would have if not for the, there we go. Pioneer seizing this strategic point, and I suspect he might be aware that something's going on here, but there's not much he can do at the moment with only pioneers. But at the same time, 3 pioneers do give him a bit of more early capping power and allow him to get more of the map than his British opponent, in particular since the British will be very busy going for this high yield fuel point. And of course he won't be receiving anything but manpower as long as that truck is moving. And of course he won't be able to get any further units either. So there's a small advantage there. Pioneers forced into a full retreat and the face of this reconnaissance section. And we see a Volksgrenadier team quickly moving in, probably going to do something to put a stop to this. They might take up positions in that building, rather nice position in fact. 4 windows, nice cover, and of course these British are out in the open, so there we go. Troops of the 21st opening fire on the recon section. The Volksgrenadiers are certainly looking in the better situation, but not having much luck in hitting the recon section, and looks like this recon section will get away before any severe losses are incurred. And we see the trucks setting up and securing this high yield fuel point, meaning lots of fuel for the British commander. Of course, currently most of the map is in the hands of the Wehrmacht. Forces the recon section moving out, sneaking about a bit with the Volksgrenadiers again move into cover, or will be standing right here among all this firewood and whatnot. And we see the British are trying to take cover, but again heavy cover is directional. Currently they are in a direction where it's not really doing anything at all. Volksgrenadier going down right next to the firewood, and I don't think he's breathing. Oh wait, he is, just barely. And going straight for a kind of Kampfkraft center. That's a bit odd. Kampfkraft center, a bit odd in fact. I might have recommended actually getting some additional infantry and a machine gun out as soon as possible, instead using his manpower on a Kampfkraft center. Bit of an odd move, but there you go. And now Volksgrenadiers are getting outgunned by the British troops, which are moving in greater numbers. Volksgrenadiers taking cover in this building, 2 able to actually fire out, and looks like the squad leader in fact has gone down, I think. There we go. Sturmgewehr at the fore. Another Volksgrenadier down, leaving only 2, and now a Bren carrier dashing in as well. Bren gun ready to fire away. The Bren gun was basically a Czechoslovakian light machine gun, which the British more or less covered, and the Bren is actually a amalgamation of the 2 names. The BR is for the Czechoslovakian firm that actually designed it and such, and the EN stands for Enfield, the same chaps making the Enfield rifle. And a pioneer goes down, lots of heavy losses, and veterans 1 up, but not looking good, in particular since they only have a small pine tree to actually provide cover for from the Bren carrier now with the 30mm Vickers gun. Oh, not 30mm caliber. And another Foot Grenadier drops. Oh dear, these Foot Grenadiers really need to get out of there. While these are not reinforcing, he does seem to be a bit unsure in his act of reinforcement, but he is seizing the rest of the map, so not all bad. And there we go, full reinforcements for the Foot Grenadiers and a Krieg barracks on the way as well. And the British are beginning to secure what is left of the German territories on the eastern side of the road. Bren carrier pulling back. We see this infantry section. Only 2 men though moving ahead. Will we see anything out of this Wehrmacht quarters? I'm not sure, but we do have only 2 Foot Grenadier teams, veterancy 1, which means they will be able to slowly heal themselves, but not at a quick rate. And we see an MG42 set up in a rather curious position. I mean, it's good to have a sort of backwards position, but you don't want to have them so far back that he's not going to be anywhere near the actual fighting when it occurs. This spot here would have been a better place, I think, but there we go. Recon's infantry section member down, and only the Bren carriers left. Foot Grenadiers charging ahead, firing away at the Bren gun. What will happen? Bren carrier, in fact, taking quite a bit of damage, possibly receive some cover from the haystack, but there we go. Panzerfaust firing away, damaging the engine of the Bren carrier, and the Bren carrier is certainly in a dire situation. Guns blazing, but it needs to get out of there. Apparently it did not. Instead, the crew is flown to all sides, while the Bren carrier is a smoldering wreck. Pioneers might want to get out of there as recon section troops are on the move, and these pioneers might move over there and scavenge the Bren carrier for anything worth munitions. We'll have to see if it does that. And we see a bold move from the Foot Grenadiers, apparently moving across the road. And will they go here, or will they go for a more southern position, going for this strategic point? I can't say. And they do in fact go for. These pioneers are just standing around again. I think perhaps trying to get this Bren carrier would certainly be a bit helpful. Foot Grenadiers going for this strategic point and for the victory point as well. Interesting move. And looks like we might see a Krieg barracks going up. Yes, indeed. Krieg barracks for everyone and a support veterancy 1. Certainly very keen on getting some healing for his troops, so he won't have to spend munitions on that. But I might have recommended something like veterancy 2, or perhaps moving that MG42 a bit closer, or again getting some munitions out of that Bren carrier. Very important. And now British troops moving in after these Foot Grenadiers, moving apparently into this building, which certainly has plenty of windows open. I do believe 5 windows, in fact, so 1 team can fire at a time. British taking cover behind the garage with the wrecked pickup truck. We'll have to see who wins, but the British troops will certainly be able to get more firepower off at the Foot Grenadiers. So might certainly end up badly for them, in particular since the British are indeed having heavy cover. And 2 Foot Grenadiers down already. Fresh troops quickly moving to the windows and firing back. And I do believe we have Terror Doctrine as well, and Seal going out, meaning they will fight harder for every loss. But I'm not entirely sure it will do them much help in there. More Flammenwerfers for the Pioneers. 1 team getting out of there, not really keen on dying inside that building. And another Foot Grenadiers is down. Recon section caught out by flamethrowers and forced back by the MG42, while these Foot Grenadiers are still captured in the house and firing back. Another Foot Grenadiers is dead. Not looking good. And we see something coming out of this field support truck, albeit what I can't say at the moment. And a full rout for the Foot Grenadiers. And we do see a Grenadier team moving in instead. Quite interesting. And going straight for a pack, which might certainly not be a bad idea. In particular, as we're seeing a captain, which could certainly mean he might be going for the Stuart light tank. Grenadiers moving in, standing out in some bushes, moving now towards here. Might set up position in the building, but plenty of British troops are moving in. Grenadiers are out in the open. Really a bad spot, Needs to get out of there before they are lost. 1 down already. Again, you don't want to have your troops out in the open, in particular when so many British troops are nearby. And Grenadiers are forced backwards, and we see a armor command track already only 9 minutes in. Certainly possible for all of this fuel that he has been able to gather from this point. And while there certainly has been some manpower losses for the British, I don't think they really have been that great, and Mr. Kuoppa really needs to push a bit harder against the British forces and do some damage. Stuart light tank apparently getting close to doing something, but taking a sharp turn, probably going to go down here and stop these pioneers. Or will they? We'll have to see. No, it will deal with those pioneers. Slowly nearing, 37mm gun ready to fire away, hitting a pioneer, but as they are retreating, they are able to survive for now, it seems. And Stuart light tank following in, and we see a British assault going in from the east as well. No mines having been laid there, so nothing to stop them. And the MG team is once more not really in a position to cover, but the Pack 38 is probably pointing in the direction where it is expected for the Stuart light tank to move in. British seizing this strategic point, and we see a move from the Volksgrenadiers right here. One setting up sandbags and barbed wire, while another is taking the strategic point, cutting off these 2 points. Stuart light tank moving in. Will the Pack be able to set up in time, and will these Grenadiers be ready to knock out this Stuart? And a shrapnel shot kills all of the Grenadiers, slicing most of them into horrible little pieces, leaving only 1 Grenadier alive. Stuart light tank is wrecked. MG42 fire is raking the remaining British troops, pinning them down or leaving behind the hay bales. And the pioneer is firing away with his flamethrower, but is taken out by a recon shot from the recon section. Pioneer team number 2 moving in. British troops getting ever closer to the MG42. Another pioneer team moving in, and further British troops are flooding into the area. The MG42 really needs to get out of there before it is lost, and might even fall into the hands of the British. Now we see Volksgrenadiers moving in to try and stop this, and looks like we found a Grenadier team from the north. MG42 was knocked out before it could get out of there. And another pioneer team is lost. These are quite horrific losses for the Wehrmacht forces. And that Bren carrier is still not been scavenged. Now there's a Stuart light tank to join into it. Grenadiers moving in. Grenade going off among the British troops will certainly be able to do a bit of damage, but they retreat before it is able to really do the most. Volksgrenadiers seizing this strategic point, while a lieutenant is busy trying to take this one, but decides to retreat instead before the deed is done, while another Volksgrenadier continues to take these points back for the fatherland and deny them to the British. And also a casualty clearing station has been erected for the British troops. And we see something coming out of this armor command truck. We'll have to see what... Oh goodness gracious, I do apologize, but we'll have to see what it will be. Possibly a Cromwell, possibly a Staghound. I can't say. And I do believe that pack is pointing in the wrong direction. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you usually want to point it in the direction of where the opponent is, not where the map ends. There we go. Staghound armored car. The replacement for the Cromwell command tank. And we see a large British force moving in. Captain also joining in, albeit he's more of a defensive officer. Medics on the spot as well, and again the pack is pointing in the very most wrong direction. Grenadiers and Volksgrenadiers holding the line while further troops are moving in. A fresh MG42. Grenadiers really might want to get down there, and another Panzer being equipped. Rifle grenades landing among the German defenders, causing heavy casualties and forcing these Grenadiers into a full retreat before they are lost. Volksgrenadiers vanishing as well, and the pack pointing in the right direction. And finally,